as you can see behind me, got the old Dodge in here. Was trying to get the cruise control working and figured out that the actual buttons themselves on the old truck are bad. There's a little circuit board in the set and the resume buttons, and I can't get it to send anything back out as a signal. So with that being said, I need new buttons. I've been looking around. People are selling used steering wheels and used cruise control setups, but they want big money for old stuff. So I'm going to go through today and see if I can't use parts off of a 95 Dodge steering column out of a half-ton to work in my 93 Dodge. Let's dig in and see if we can't retrofit the steering wheel that has the cruise controls on it into the old Dodge. So first things first, this is the stock buttons. It's this one over here that doesn't want to work. This one seems to work. This button over here, the circuit board inside this little piece, doesn't want to work. And that all passes through the clock spring, which is, the connector for it is right here. That is the clock spring connector. Yes, this old truck has a clock spring for the horn and everything to pass through it. So, no airbag, but it has a clock spring. I need to take my horn cover off so I can see about the center nut in here. And I'm hoping that the splines is the same. This is a 95 Dodge half-ton steering column in the old 76 project truck that really never took off. Don't mind this. Kids, wonderful, right? So it has the cruise right here. Now I don't really know if these buttons work, but they feel better, a lot newer. And this truck this came out of didn't have, you know, 700,000+ miles like that guy. First glance, that is the wire harness for the clock spring on this, which this does have an airbag steering column. I will not be wiring the airbag in. It's just going to be there for, I guess, to cover the hole basically. So I know the chances of this wiring pinout being the same for the cruise control is relatively slim, but I at least have the pigtail right here with the connector to go to the clock spring, which would therefore control the cruise and the horn option. So I got to get this cover off, which is actually the airbag itself. I got to take that off and take the horn off of the 92 steering column, and then we'll go from there. So to take the horn cover off of the 93, there is 3 screws. That hold the cover on. In my case, they are Phillips. So I'm going to take all 3 of those out. After you get that out, you're left with this. So I got to unplug these. Okay. That is off. Makes pretty simple work of it. These are the buttons, and it all comes down into here. So once we get the horn cover off the other one, we can kind of see what I'm dealing with and if this is even remotely possible, because I really don't have any idea. I'm just winging it with what I've got around. So on this steering wheel, the 95 steering wheel, it uses 4 10mm socket, or 10mm studs. So that's different. Oh yeah. Alright, should also note too, there is, boy, I don't know if you're gonna be able to see it or not, 2 more smaller screws down, holding like a back panel for the cruise control as well. In my case, they are a Phillips. This is on the 95 column still. Now, I'm working on getting the steering wheel puller installed on here. You got to go through all these bolts and stuff to figure out which ones fit in your threaded holes. And this is a performance tool. Oh, can't even get the part number there. W80651. I think I got it from Advanced. I don't remember, to be honest. But this also has the hooks for doing the newer Jeeps too. So we use that to do the clock springs on the JKs. You want to get these bolts threaded in about evenly, and you want to make sure they're threaded in a decent amount. You want thread engagement, because if you pull the threads out of the steering wheel, you know, if you only get it in a couple threads and then you crank on it and you pull the bolts out, you're in a world of trouble. I mean, you're going to be drilling and all that crap when you didn't even need to, you know, you kind of did it to yourself. So I got it in there. This is going to use a 16 millimeter to tighten this. Might even be standard too. But now I'm just going to tighten this, and it's going to pull this bolt, or pull it off the splines. So let's see if I can do it by hand. If not, I'm packing heat. And then I'm using it to get rid of the heat, because it's hot in here. All right, let's see if we get lucky. All right, be good, baby. Oh, are you coming or are you busting? What are you doing? That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. This old truck wants to be saved, I'm telling you. This is a minor thing, but man, it seems to always want to, like, be good and, you know, be nice about coming apart for me. There's a lot of vehicles that don't do that. This usually isn't a big problem, but just in general, this truck has been pretty happy about the whole concept coming back to being used all the time. Wire to get out. Kind of careful with that. Oh, come on. Just a spade connector, don't be mean. There we go. ABS airbag. Oh, yeah. All right. So, that is off. I'll be honest, I am not sure how this is attached. All right, I gotta do some investigating. I had to lower the multi-function switch or turn signal switch, whatever you want to call it, down. This is on the 95 column. Chrysler decided they needed to use tamper-proof Torx bits to hold that on. It's got two of them, one on top and one on the bottom. So one here and one down here. A tamper-proof bit. Luckily, I had this. See how it's got the hole in the middle? Such a pain in the butt. All right, I got it down because there's a little plastic tab. I don't know if you're able to see it or not. That I got to pull towards me some to release the clock spring. The top one's broke, so that's not great. But I'm gonna roll with it. See if I can get this off without breaking it. The other thing too is you do not want to turn this. If you turn this clock spring, see how it moves? If you spin that around, there's a little ribbon inside of here that transmits the electrical current through it. You go and turn it and you don't have it centered. When you go and turn your vehicle all the way one way or the other, it'll break that ribbon and then nothing works on your steering wheel. This goes for all vehicles, new and old alike. So this wire is for the airbag. I'm not worried about that. All right, fun fact. There's a screw there and a screw down here on the multi-function switch, the turn signal switch, which looks like it probably would interchange as well with the 95. Tamper-proof Torx bits in 1992. They've been screwing us since then, at least, putting oddball stuff to where you're not supposed to be able to do it yourself. You can pick up tools. This just happens to be one of the multi ones. That's why I also can't tell you what size it is, what size tamper-proof Torx bit, because they're not labeled on this. They might have been at one point, but they're not now. Tamper-proof Torx bits, huge pain in the butt. Auto manufacturers hate us. I did test fit the steering wheel. It does spline on here. So the 95 steering wheel splines on. Oh, no wonder it's so hot. Okay, you have to excuse my Harbor Freight dome light. She's bright, but I had to shut my shop lights off because they're putting off so much freaking heat. I was afraid I was going to get a 3rd-degree sunburn in here today. So, working in the dark. Kind of. I got my dome light going, you know. All right, so I'm going to pull this off. I already have the other clock spring off, as you seen a second ago. This appears to mount exactly the same. I'm pretty dang hopeful that this is going to work. I'm feeling pretty good about it, actually. Oh, I got one more thing to check. Hold on. Yeah, I'm gonna believe this. This clock spring on the backside plugs straight into the truck. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean it's pinned exactly the same. I'm gonna try to correlate color to color, but just upon quick visual and memory, I'm pretty sure the colors are the same. But I will verify before I hook it up. My main thing though is I want to get this off, this clock spring off the 92, and see if this one actually clips in. Because if it doesn't actually clip in and it won't stay stationary, I have to figure something out, and I'm not sure how far I'm willing to go to try to rig it on here. We're gonna make sure that it clips on first. Oh man, these are tight. Oh buddy, that is not good. The 95 column, these were pretty dang, well, they wasn't really loose, but they wasn't like this. Right now it'd be awesome to have just a regular screwdriver style that came out further, because that's the struggle I'm having right now. My bit isn't long enough. It doesn't have a long enough shaft. That's the struggles that we're having right now. And the bottom one is worse yet. Dang it, Dodge. Why you gotta be like this? Okay, finally got the multi-function switch hanging down. 100% recommend to buy regular Torx bits instead of this floppy crap for this job. Such a pain in the butt. All because you need that little hole in the center. Ridiculous. I am not gonna lie, that is absolutely frustrating. To the point where I'm probably gonna go through and count. I'm gonna try to tell you what Torx bit it is, so hold on. It looks like it's a T20 tamper-proof Torx bit. That's gonna be the worst part of this whole job if you want my honest opinion. Unless you can find like a screwdriver style or one that goes on to a like a 1/4-inch drive ratchet and you can use an extension. Otherwise, that sucks. I thought about trying to knock the tip off of them, which you can, people have done that in the past, busting the little nipple off in the screw. See in the middle how it's got that bump out in there? People have done that in the past, but I figure all I'm gonna do is mess it up if I try. I could also just run to the hardware store, in my case Baumgars, and just pick up a couple machine screws. But these look like they're probably fine thread, so I'm gonna guess it's probably a 10 by 32. I don't want to deal with that. Anywho, I'm gonna keep pressing forwards. I would recommend having a tamper-proof Torx bit set that is not on one of these. As convenient as these are for this job, they are a nightmare. So upon looking, this looks like it has the exact same mounts as the 95. Wow, that was dark. Hold on here. Whoa, look at me go now. All right. Like I said, I'm kind of working in the dark right now to try to not melt. I'm gonna pop this clock spring off, and we'll see if the other one slips on. Make sure the spacing isn't different, which I really doubt. We'll pop this off and be back in a jiffy. I have got this temporarily on here. The steering wheel is barely slid on. Got the horn hooked up. They both work. Cool. The kid will be happy. If you know my kid, that's the biggest thing ever. Gotta have a horn. The connector for the clock spring right here, clipped right in. I don't know. So I'm just gonna start this thing up. I jacked the back end up. Figure I'll show you how I've done this. So I jacked the back end up, got it on jack stands. It's sitting really sturdy because I got the jack stands really low, so there's not a whole lot of movement in this thing at all. So let's start it up, and we'll see what happens. Maybe I'll have cruise that works. That's all this all is. You get cruise control that works for long road trips. A little loud now, but you got to Cummins, you know. That's how it is. I'll try to find a cool spot for you. Record, my foot's not on the gas, so this thing in overdrive with no pressure on the tires wants to run at 30 miles an hour. That's a little crazy. All right, let's see here. Cruise is on. I'm gonna run it up. I don't want cruise at 30 obviously because my truck's already doing it. So when I operated this with my power probe, when I set the cruise, the speed spiked up some because the tires weren't on the ground, so it couldn't maintain the speed. So if it does that with this button, I know that it's working. It's just, it's not on the ground, so it can't maintain its speed. So it doesn't quite know how to keep it going at that steady speed. So let's see here. I got her up to about 40. Come on, baby. Yeah, buddy! Oh. Oh, I think we're in the clear, guys. I think we're in the clear. I'm gonna try to do it with the brake pedal and then click resume and see if it recognizes that as well. Not that that's a big deal, but that's handy. Anybody that uses cruise knows it's kind of handy. All right, back up to about 40. Set. I'm gonna tap the brake now, which will disable cruise just like any other vehicle, right? Let's see if resume works. Oh, yeah! Oh, that's a good feeling, guys. Bring this noisy girl back down. Another fun fact, whenever you got a vehicle up off the ground and you're trying to put it in park, go to neutral first, just to make sure that your brakes are working good and it stops the tires from spinning, so you don't grind it when you throw it into park. Okay guys, minus putting putting it together properly with the screws and stuff. I just swapped a 95 steering wheel, which I'm not really fond of, but it is from a second gen Dodge, you know, the twister Dodges, and they're just kind of badass anyways. Like, but I would have loved to kept the old one, but I'm not paying $270 for a steering wheel with the cruise buttons that may or may not even work. No, not doing it. I think I paid $50 for this column out of a junkyard years ago. You can upfit, and I'll also inform you as well, the ignition switch in this truck, not with the key, but down here, the electronic component is out of the same 95 column. I thought I was having problems with mine from the 92, so I was going around trying to figure it out, but it turns out it wasn't that, and I just never switched it back because the 95 column has 2 keys, and the keys don't fall out when you hit bumps. The original key for this was so wore out, you could take it out while driving. Kind of cool, right? But not great either. So, you can swap a fair amount of parts off a 95 column into your first gen. Actually, pretty sure you could swap the columns to up to, I don't remember what year, but I'm pretty sure you can swap the entire steering column if you really want. Anywho, I'm gonna button this up, and then I think the only right thing to do is take it on a road trip, or not a road trip, but take it on a road test and just verify complete functionality of it. I also got one part that's broke on this, but I'm not too worried about it. You see this little black piece here? That's for this cruise control. I was trying to take the screw out, and I could hear it clicking. It wasn't actually turning the whole thing, so somebody over tightened it and they broke it, I think. I'm gonna try to clean the airbag cover up, or the airbag itself, because it's kind of sticky, which happens in older vehicles. The steering wheel is also ugly as sin, right? It's an M4 by 07. I don't know the length because their bins were all jacked up, and it's in millimeters, and I don't know that. But I'm switching out those tamper-proof Torx bits. They only had Allen button head screws, but it'll work out just fine. So they were $1 a piece. I spent $4. I bought 2 for this column and 2 for the other one, because I'm not just going to keep that column tore apart. I'll put it back together as well. I'm also going to save my original clock spring. I'm going to tape it so it doesn't spin, and who knows, maybe I'll get lucky and find somebody that has, you know, a truck with cruise control, and they're not going to, you know, it's out, it's scrapped or something, you know. I'll put that one back on. I like that wheel better, obviously, but this will work just fine. So anyways, I figured I'd pop on and tell you, M4 by 07 for the thread. Length, match it up. Good luck. I don't know. It's all together. Don't mind this.
That's a Levi.
That's just from somebody. But it's all together. I put the steering wheel cover off the old one because the steering wheel just looks like crap. But I got a lot of the stickiness off. I used bug and tar remover, which didn't really work good. And I used Dawn dish soap, and that took most of it off.
The bug and tar is from Chemical Guys, and it was heavily diluted though.
Yeah. So, I don't know. We'll see what else we can try. It's kind of like a leather feel, so maybe a leather cleaner. I don't know. But that's a really common problem, so maybe somebody knows in the comments what the heck gets the like old vehicle sticky steering wheel residue off.
Yeah. Comment down below. We got plenty of vehicles that need it.
We have a ton of vehicles that need that love. We're going to do a drive, see if the cruise works. It worked on the jack. But something else that nobody else has noticed, I put the whole steering column together.
I noticed.
So hopefully that doesn't mean it's going to give us problems, because that's why I didn't put it back together, because I was like, as soon as I do, it's going to act up. But hopefully we're all good. I know you can't hear me, but we're going to try it. Disable it with the brake. I'm going to hit resume.